Good day and welcome to Quilting with Don. I'm Don. 2024. For those of you just tuning into this particular show, I have been doing a series of YouTube videos where I document quilts I make. I've already done 3 documented quilts. In fact, first 2 years ago was lap kitties. Maybe it was 3. It's all a blur. And then I did last year, the beginning of this year, I did Vista boxes. And then more recently I did the Eye of Sauron. So, I think it's almost time to do another one. In fact, it is. I am bursting forth with ideas. And as a result of that, I picked a pattern called Bursting Forth. Okay, you probably saw that one coming. It's a pattern by Barbara H. Klein, and here's a picture of it. This pattern caught my eye when I was flipping through some magazines that's held by the library of our Quilting Guild in Parksville. So, because I've been going to meetings, in fact, as an aside, I even got talked into being part of the team, if you will, and now I'm working memberships with a friend, Sharon, and Carolyn, dear Carolyn, is becoming the president of the Quilting Guild. Go figure! Yeah, anyway, that's a completely other story. So, let's talk about bursting forth. Once again, here's the picture. This, as designed, is 58 inches by 58 inches by 50 inches. 58 inches wide, 50 inches tall, if you lay it out like that. I'm not sure I'm going to. I'm not sure I'm going to do everything I said. In fact, I won't. I like to change things up a little bit. But before we even talk about what this pattern could do, let's talk about what it is. It creates a 3-dimensional effect, and it does that by using a black nylon netting on half of the shapes to create that darkened shaded area. I'll show you what I mean. So it's using a new technique that I've never used before. The second cool thing about this that caught my eye is it uses a lot of templates. There's some interesting shapes in it, and here's a picture of the templates. Well, if you've seen anything else I've done, you'll know, this looks like an idea for the scan and cut, and it is. So I took the liberty of massaging all these templates that came out of the magazine into the scan and cut using the Canvas software from Brother. It's online. And I created my cutting plans for all the fabric. If, as I go along, you ask yourself, well, how did he do that? Ask me, and I'll show you. I'll do I can do a tutorial just on how to take templates you see in magazines and turn them into cutting patterns for the scan and cut. It takes a bit of massaging, but it's doable, and it comes out exactly the same size as what you get in the magazines, because I tested it. More to follow on that. So, going to use a scan and cut. I am going to change some colors. I laid out, here's the picture of the design again. Here's my rendition of what I want to do. So I've tweaked the colors a little bit. I've added some yellows, I've added some black, just to make things pop a bit more. So I think that's my initial thought. I also, if you'll notice, I've turned it so that it's the points are top and bottom instead of left and right. I don't know why, but my mind likes that layout better. When I look at it, it looks more 3-dimensional. I think it's a trick, it's an optical illusion, but I prefer it that way. You also see that I added a bit of extra to the border just to make it pop. Now, having said that, I never go into anything blindly. So I tested this. I laid out these templates for one complete triangle. I laid them out in a scan and cut the fabric, used some gold fabric from Eye of Sauron, and I created this. Aha, no, hang on, I'll actually show you a better picture than this. But I created this. Let me show you a close-up. So here we go. Here's what I created. So you can see that there are several shapes. There's this diamond shape, it's just an odd shape, more of a different shape, and another triangle. And then it's all repeated over here. But you're also saying to yourself, well, this side's darker than that side. Well, if you look close, you could see there's that black netting. Oh, there's a piece of fuzz here. Let's get rid of that. I added the black netting on top of this and sewed it in. Now, you see the line here where it's sewn, it's less than 1/4 of an inch. So that'll get folded under once you sew the next piece to it, because you don't see it on here and here. Sorry. You don't see it here and here, right? So there's my proof. Now the interesting thing is I sewed that using the Brother 99K antique sewing machine, and that is what I'm going to use for this entire project. Da-da-da! So if you haven't seen it before, a friend of Carolyn's, well, a friend of ours, gave Carolyn, and I'm stealing it, this wonderful antique, made in 1956, Singer 99K sewing machine. And it works great. I've actually done a little bit of sewing with it already. I oiled it all up. There's the only thing electric about it, I haven't plugged it in. The only thing electric about it is the motor and the light. Nothing else, it's all mechanical. It sounds so good, and it's wonderful. What I also did, I don't have a foot on it right now, but I also acquired, where did I put it here? Here it is. I acquired from a cool website the 1/4-inch sewing foot for quilting that's even got a little guide on the edge. So this allows me to do nice 1/4-inch seams for this quilt, because I have a hunch that's pretty important. You want to make sure that things stay consistent, because there's a lot of sewing going on, there's a lot of shapes involved, and if you're not consistent, it could go wonky. You could get wobbles and bubbles. So that is the plan. Finally, let me show you the colors I am going to use, because you saw my template. So I'll walk you through the fabric I've chosen so far. I raided Carolyn's stash. I didn't have to buy any fabric so far, and I don't intend to. Those who have seen Carolyn on some of our videos will know that Carolyn hates to waste fabric, but not only that, she doesn't like hoarding fabric. So she strongly encouraged me to use what we already have. So I did. So I've got, here's the yellow. I got this when I made lab kitties. Okay? I found these wonderful greens, and I'll show you a close-up in a sec. I found these wonderful greens in Carolyn's quarters with fat quarters and so on, from a light to a dark, and I really like this one and this one. Blues, a little bit from Eye of Sauron, actually most of them are from Eye of Sauron, and I found this one in her fat quarter, which I really like. So what you're seeing is, along with the pattern, is that there's going to be 4 different shades of green, 4 different shades of blue, 4 different shades of red, but you're saying, wow, there's too many blue. Yes, there are. I've got to still narrow this selection down, but I'm definitely going to use this blue here, one of these 3, and this blue. Then the red, same idea. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reds. I'm going to use this one. Probably this one, because I like it. It's bright. I'm going to pick one of these 2, and maybe this one. We'll see. There's the yellow. There's the greens. I really like this one. And this one. There's the blues. Like that one. Like that one. These are cool. I love that one. This one over here. There. Then the reds. I love this one. This one has a nice light. I may look for another light red, but it's kind of boring, but that's not bad. I like that one. I like that one. This one's cool. So I have to do a bit of deciding, but that's the next phase. So there you have it. That is the plan. I'm going to make Bursting Forth with the colors you've seen and the design so far that I'm working on. It's going to use lots of templates. It's going to use the scan and cut. It's going to use black netting. Oh, yeah, black netting. I bought a bunch of this too. It's very thin, very economical, and I think I like the look of it. What it does, then, it keeps the same fabric that you've got for the lighter side, and then it just darkens it for the darker side. So you don't have to change, you don't have to buy extra fabric. You just have to use a bit of creativity. That's one of the things that caught my eye. Full disclosure, for those that have seen Carolyn in action, she doesn't really like this pattern. She hasn't explained to me why exactly, but she's not discouraging me from doing it. So I'm doing it. Going to give it a shot. So stay tuned. Oh yes, I'll be right back. Those that know me know I love my beer. In fact, in particular, I love Belgian beer. So, don't drink it so. I have a treat for me, and I'll explain it to you in a little bit. Some say that the best beer in the world is West Vleteren. It's a Belgian beer from the Flemish part of Belgium, and it is a wonderful beer. It really is. Well, can't get that here, But you can get a beer that's very similar here, and hopefully nobody flames me for saying, oh, it's not the same. I find it's similar. I think it's made in the same area, and it's called Saint Barnabas. It has a similar rich, dark, sweet flavor. A little on the strong side. I think it's around 11 or 12% alcohol. I'll have to look at this. Sorry, it's 10% alcohol, but it's called a Douze. And so, I'm going to kickstart this project with a wee bit of beer heaven. If you've ever seen Drinking Beer with Don, you know I do love the dark beer. Hey, and look at this. I've even got a little coaster here for my beer. I now have a use of reused fabric. But anyway, cheers. Remember, like I said, don't drink and sew. But happy sewing, happy quilting, and stay tuned for when I actually get to work on this baby by starting to use a scanning cut with cutting the fabric and then sewing it. Cheers. Oh, that's good. That is a fine beer. Have a good one.